The signal came at 3:17 a.m. on a cold Tuesday morning. Dr. Nathan Lewis had been dozing at his desk when the computers at NASA's SETI division started beeping wildly. He jerked awake, knocking over his cold coffee as he scrambled to check the readings. "This can't be right," he muttered, adjusting his glasses. The pattern was too regular, too structured to be natural cosmic noise. His hands trembled as he typed commands into the system, running verification protocols. 3 hours later, as the sun rose over the New Mexico desert, Nathan was still at his computer. But now he wasn't alone. The room buzzed with activity as scientists and government officials crowded around his workstation. "Dr. Lewis, are you absolutely certain?" asked Commander Olivia Wright. Her military uniform stood out among the lab coats. Once an Air Force pilot, Olivia now headed the government's extraterrestrial response team, a job that had been mostly theoretical until today. "Yes, Commander. This is not natural and not human-made. We've detected an artificial signal from the direction of Alpha Centauri," Nathan said, his voice steady despite his exhaustion, "and it's addressing us directly." The signal contained mathematical sequences followed by simple images, the kind you might use to communicate with someone who didn't speak your language. Nathan and his team worked day and night decoding it, sleeping on office couches and subsisting on vending machine snacks. On the 7th day, they made the breakthrough. "It's an invitation," Nathan explained to the emergency United Nations meeting, projected on screens across the globe. Or more accurately, an announcement. "They call themselves the Galactic Council, a union of 27 spacefaring civilizations, and they're coming to Earth." The world reacted with a mixture of wonder, fear, and skepticism. Religious leaders sought meaning in ancient texts. Military forces went on high alert. Conspiracy theorists claimed vindication. Stock markets plummeted, then soared as companies with space technology saw their values multiply overnight. In his small apartment, Nathan tried to process what was happening. His phone rang constantly with calls from reporters, government agencies, and old colleagues. He ignored them all, focusing instead on further translations coming through. "You need to sleep," Olivia said when she visited his apartment, stepping around piles of books and printouts. "We need you sharp." "How can I sleep?" Nathan asked, rubbing his red eyes. "We're about to meet aliens, Olivia. Actual aliens. Everything changes now." Olivia sat down across from him. "That's exactly why I'm here. The President has formed a First Contact Commission. We both made the short list." 6 months of intense preparation followed. Nathan led a team of linguists creating communication protocols. Olivia trained with diplomats and anthropologists, preparing for any cultural misunderstandings. The world's governments, for once united by common purpose, pooled resources to establish a unified response. They built a reception facility in neutral territory, the middle of the Pacific Ocean, on a newly constructed platform. World leaders agreed on basic negotiation principles: show strength but not aggression, curiosity but not naivety, respect but not subservience. The day arrived with little warning. A simple message: "We enter your solar system. Prepare for arrival in 6 hours." Nathan stood on the platform beside Olivia, watching the sky with officials from 30 countries. The air felt electric with anticipation. "Are we ready for this?" Nathan whispered. Olivia straightened her shoulders. "No, but we'll do it anyway. That's what humans do." The clouds parted as something massive descended from above. Sunlight glinted off a structure larger than any aircraft carrier. A ship of impossible size and beauty, all sleek lines and shimmering material that seemed to change color as it moved. As the vessel hovered above the platform, Nathan felt his scientific mind racing to understand its propulsion system, its materials, its technology that defied Earth's physics. But another part of him, the human part, simply stood in awe. Humanity's first contact with galactic civilization had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The alien ship hung in the air above the ocean platform, casting a shadow that stretched for miles. Everyone held their breath as a section of the ship's hull shimmered and opened. A beam of blue light shot down to the platform's surface. 5 figures materialized in the light. Each alien looked completely different from the others. One resembled a giant insect with multiple limbs and compound eyes. Another seemed made of living crystal that caught the sunlight and broke it into rainbows. The third floated above the ground, its body a swirling mist contained in what looked like a transparent suit. The fourth had scales and a long tail, walking upright like a lizard person. The last one was strangest of all, a humanoid shape that glowed and flickered like a flame. Admiral George Bennett watched from the edge of the platform, his hand never far from his concealed weapon. As head of the United Earth Defense Force, he trusted no one, especially not aliens who appeared out of nowhere with technology far beyond human understanding. Nathan stepped forward with Olivia at his side. He carried a tablet with translation software his team had developed based on the alien signals. "Welcome to Earth," he said, his voice surprisingly steady. "We are honored by your presence." The translation played from speakers in a series of musical tones and clicks. The reptilian alien stepped forward and spoke. The tablet processed its words. "I am Slith of the Draconites." The translation read, "Chief Ambassador of the Galactic Council. These are representatives of the Exari, Lumidians, Vaporians, and Pulsars. We have come to evaluate your species." The meeting moved to a conference room inside the platform. World leaders and scientists sat across from the 5 aliens. Camera drones hovered in the corners, broadcasting to billions of humans watching with fear and fascination. "Your technology is primitive," said the insect-like Exari, its mandibles clicking. "Your city's inefficient. Your methods of travel laughably slow." Nathan frowned. This wasn't the friendly first contact many had hoped for. Olivia spoke up. "We have made great progress in a short time. Humans have gone from horse-drawn carriages to space exploration in just a few centuries. The crystal being, the Lumidian, shifted, creating a musical sound. True, their development curve is notable." Slith's forked tongue flicked out. "Yet they spend resources on weapons and war instead of advancement." Admiral Bennett couldn't stay quiet anymore. "We develop weapons because the universe is dangerous. Your arrival proves we were right to be cautious." The misty Vaporian swirled faster. "The human speaks truth. Caution is wise." Over the next days, meetings continued. The aliens revealed they had visited Earth many times throughout history. The Egyptian pyramids, Stonehenge, the Nazca Lines, all were sites of previous contact or observation posts. "We have watched your kind for thousands of years," Slith explained. "From cave paintings to nuclear weapons, your potential is great. Your restraint is not." On the 7th day, Slith showed them images of other worlds and species. Some looked like paradise, with gleaming cities and strange plants. Others appeared barren and damaged. "Those who joined the council flourished," Slith said, pointing to the beautiful worlds. "Those who rejected our guidance suffered." That night, Nathan couldn't sleep. He paced his room on the platform, reviewing translations and communications. Something felt wrong. The council representatives didn't always seem to agree with each other, and sometimes their private conversations, which Nathan's equipment picked up faintly, sounded different from their public statements. "They're hiding something," he told Olivia when she knocked on his door, looking equally troubled. "Their unity is a front." "I know," she replied. "The Lumidian representative approached me privately. It seemed almost apologetic about something." Admiral Bennett joined them, his face grim. "My team detected energy readings from their ship. They scanned our entire planet while pretending to just sit in orbit. They're mapping our resources." Nathan felt a chill run through him. "I don't think they came here to welcome us to the galactic community." "No," Olivia agreed. "I think they came here to take something." 1 week after their arrival, the Galactic Council called for a special meeting with Earth's leaders. The mood was tense as everyone gathered in the main conference room of the ocean platform. Slith stood at the center, his scaled skin catching the light as he moved. "The Council has completed its evaluation of Earth," Slith announced, his voice translated through the speakers. "We have reached a decision regarding humanity's place in galactic society." Nathan noticed how the Lumidian representative seemed to dim slightly, while the Vaporan's mist swirled more slowly than usual. Only the insect-like Axari appeared excited, rubbing its front legs together rapidly. Admiral Bennett leaned toward Olivia and whispered, "I don't like this." Slith activated a holographic display showing Earth surrounded by alien ships. "The Galactic Council offers humanity protection and guidance. In return, Earth will submit to Council authority effective immediately." The room erupted in shocked murmurs. The President of the United Nations stood up. "What exactly does submit mean, Ambassador Slith?" Slith's tongue flicked out. "It means the following terms must be accepted. First, all Earth military forces will be disbanded. Second, humans will restrict their activities to Earth and its moon until deemed ready for further space travel. Third, Earth will provide the Council with regular resource tributes, including metals, water, and biological materials." "This isn't an invitation to join your Council," Olivia said, standing up. "This is a demand for surrender." "Call it what you wish, Commander Wright," Slith replied. "These terms are standard for species at your development level. The Council has overseen the successful integration of 17 civilizations this way. And what happens if we refuse?" Admiral Bennett asked. The Axari representative clicked its mandibles. "Then pacification becomes necessary." The holographic display changed to show alien weapons firing on Earth cities. The message was clear. "You have 30 Earth days to comply," Slith concluded. "We will return for your answer." After the aliens departed back to their ship, Earth's leaders argued for hours. Some wanted to surrender to avoid destruction. Others demanded resistance at any cost. Nathan barely spoke during the debates. Instead, he slipped away to his lab where he had been monitoring all Council communications. He had discovered something interesting. The aliens used multiple frequency layers in their transmissions, with some layers seemingly hidden from others. "Look at this," he told Olivia when she found him hunched over his computers late that night. "The Draconites and Xeri are communicating on frequencies the other Council members don't access, and what they're saying doesn't match their public statements." Olivia read the translated messages. "They're discussing mining operations, claiming territories on Earth." "This ultimatum isn't standard procedure," Nathan said. "Earth has something they want badly. Something worth breaking their own protocols for." Admiral Bennett joined them, bringing news from his own sources. "My team analyzed their scans of Earth. They focused heavily on our rare Earth element deposits, especially in deep ocean trenches and the Arctic. Elements we need for our own advanced technology," Olivia noted. "Exactly," Nathan said. "And look at this message. They're worried about resource shortages in their own territories." The three of them worked through the night, gathering evidence. By morning, they had a clearer picture. The Council wasn't united. The Draconites and Xeri were pushing for harsh treatment of Earth, while the other species seemed uncomfortable with the approach. "We need to exploit these divisions," Admiral Bennett said. "It's our best chance. And we need to stall for time," Nathan added. "I've been working on hacking into their communication systems. With a few more days, I might be able to access their databases." Olivia nodded, determination in her eyes. "I'll inform the UN leadership. We won't accept their ultimatum, but we won't outright reject it either. We'll counterpropose and drag out negotiations." As they prepared to present their findings, a message came through from the Lumidian representative, sent on a frequency only Nathan's equipment could detect. "Not all Council members agree with this ultimatum. Seek the outcasts for allies." Nathan looked at Olivia and Bennett. "We're not alone in the galaxy." And neither are they. The United Nations meeting hall buzzed with tension. Leaders from every country argued about the Council's ultimatum. Some wanted to fight. Others thought surrender was the only option for survival. "They have technology we can't match," said the French president. "Fighting would mean extinction." But becoming their slaves isn't living, countered the Nigerian representative. We must find another way. Professor Diane Jackson stepped up to the podium. A respected expert in political theory, she had studied power dynamics her whole career. The Council is not as united as they want us to believe, she explained. Dr. Lewis has discovered communication gaps between different alien groups. We should exploit these divisions. While the debate continued, Admiral Bennett met secretly with military leaders in a secure underground facility. They reviewed Earth's defense options. The news wasn't good. Our most advanced weapons would barely scratch their ships, said the Chinese general. Then we need to be smarter, not just stronger, Bennett replied. He revealed blueprints for a secret project, a small fleet of experimental spacecraft built using technology reverse-engineered from old alien artifacts found decades ago. The ships weren't powerful, but they were fast and nearly invisible to standard detection methods. One pilot stood out among the volunteers to fly these experimental craft. Captain Ryan Miller had a reputation for doing the impossible. I'll take the _Defiant beyond our solar system, he offered. If there are other aliens out there, these outcasts the Lumidian mentioned, I'll find them. Meanwhile, Nathan worked day and night to hack deeper into the Council's networks. Olivia brought him food and made him sleep when he nearly collapsed from exhaustion. You found something, she said, noticing his excited expression when she visited his lab on the 5th day. Nathan nodded. Look at these mineral surveys. The Council is desperate for elements we call rare earth metals, especially something they name element 137X. It's similar to our element neodymium, but with properties we haven't discovered yet. Why do they need it so badly? It powers their faster-than-light engines. Without it, their civilization collapses. Olivia studied the data, and Earth has large deposits. The largest they found in this sector of the galaxy. That's why they're not following their own rules. That's why they're rushing this integration of Earth. With this knowledge, Earth's leaders formed a bold plan. They would neither accept nor fully reject the ultimatum. Instead, they would propose a counteroffer. Earth would trade fairly with the Council as equals, not as subjects. 20 days after the ultimatum, humanity delivered its response. The Council representatives returned to the ocean platform. Slith looked confident as he slithered into the meeting room, clearly expecting submission. Olivia stood as Earth's chosen speaker. The people of Earth have considered your terms, she began. We understand the Council's need for resources, including element 137X. Slith's reptilian eyes widened slightly. He hadn't expected humans to discover this. Instead of surrender, Olivia continued, we propose a partnership, equal trade. We will provide access to our resources in exchange for fair compensation, including technology sharing and full membership in galactic society. Unacceptable, Slith hissed. Your species is too young, too primitive. The Lumidian representative shifted, creating musical tones. Perhaps we should consider their offer. Our traditional approach may not. Silence. Slith interrupted. The Council has decided. Earth will submit or face consequences. No, Olivia said simply. Humans don't kneel to threats. We never have throughout our history. We extend our hand in friendship, but we will not bow to intimidation. The Vaporean's mist swirled rapidly in what seemed like approval, while the Exari clicked its mandibles angrily. As the meeting dissolved into heated arguments among the Council members, a message reached Admiral Bennett. Captain Miller's _Defiant had made contact with ships of unknown design at the edge of the solar system. The outcasts had arrived. The Council's unity was fracturing. Humanity had found potential allies, and the game had changed entirely. The Council representatives stormed out of the meeting room after Earth's refusal to submit. Their ship glowed with angry red lights as it hovered in the sky. You've doomed your planet, Slith had hissed before leaving. The Council does not tolerate defiance. But as soon as the aliens returned to their vessel, Nathan detected a surge in communications between them. His translation program worked overtime to decode their heated exchanges. "They're arguing," he told Olivia and Admiral Bennett. "The Draconites and Xeri want immediate military action. The Lumidians and Vaporians are pushing for more negotiation. The Pulsars seem caught in the middle. How much time does that buy us?" Admiral Bennett asked. "Maybe a few days," Nathan replied. "But there's something else. I've picked up transmissions from another ship entering our solar system. It's using frequencies similar to Council technology, but different somehow." On the edge of the solar system, Captain Ryan Miller guided the Defiant toward 3 sleek vessels, unlike the Council's ship. The alien craft surrounded his ship, but made no aggressive moves. A voice came through his communication system, speaking perfect English. "Greetings, human vessel. We are the Alliance of Free Worlds. Some call us the Outcasts." Miller's heart raced. "How do you know our language?" "We've monitored Council activities for centuries. We know they've come to Earth with demands. We've seen this pattern before." The Outcast ships escorted the Defiant back toward Earth at incredible speed. Miller learned they represented 3 species expelled from the Council for opposing its exploitative policies: the aquatic Proteans, the plant-like Altarians, and the crystalline Tausicians. "The Council presents itself as a unifying force," explained the Procyon commander, whose holographic image showed a being resembling a blue dolphin with arms. "In reality, the Draconites and Xeri have taken control. They use other worlds as resource colonies." Back on Earth, Nathan received an urgent message from the Lumidian representative requesting a secret meeting. Olivia accompanied him to an abandoned warehouse near the coast, the crystal being pulsed with dim light. "I risk much by coming here," it said through a personal translator. "But you must know the truth. The ultimatum given to Earth violates our oldest laws of contact. Several Council members oppose it, but the Draconites control our military forces. Why are they so desperate for our resources?" Olivia asked. "The Draconite Empire expands constantly. Their hunger for element 137X grows with each new territory. Without it, their dominance ends. The Lumidians' light flickered. 3 civilizations before yours refused their demands. All were destroyed. But not before they hurt the Council," Nathan guessed, remembering the Outcasts. "Yes, the resistance of the Proteans, Altarians, and Tausicians inspired others. Each time the Council uses force, more members question its purpose." The Lumidian moved closer. "I must return before my absence is noticed. But know this, you are not alone in your stand." As the Lumidian left, Olivia received an alert from Global Defense Systems. Multiple small ships had broken off from the main Council vessel and were positioning themselves around Earth. Admiral Bennett mobilized Earth's defenses. "They're preparing for an attack," he told world leaders. "We need more time." That time arrived in the form of Captain Miller's return. The Defiant appeared on radar, accompanied by the 3 Outcast ships. They positioned themselves protectively near Earth. The Outcast Alliance opened communications with both Earth and the Council ship. "This world has chosen independence," the Procyon commander announced. "The Alliance recognizes Earth's right to self-determination." Slith's furious response came immediately. "Interfering with Council business violates space law. Withdraw or face destruction." "We will not withdraw," the Procyon replied calmly. "The days of Council intimidation must end." Earth watched as more ships broke away from the Council vessel, but instead of attacking, the Lumidian and Vaporian craft moved to positions between Earth and the Draconite forces. The Council was openly splitting apart. Nathan turned to Olivia, his face lit by the glow of monitor screens tracking the standoff above their world. "We did it. We found the crack in their unity." "No," Olivia replied, watching the positioning ships. "We just made it wider. What comes next will determine everything." The standoff lasted 12 tense hours. In space, ships from different alien factions faced each other, weapons ready. On Earth, humans watched their skies, wondering if this would be their last day. Slith's ultimatum had expired. The Draconite and Xeri ships moved into attack positions. All Earth defense systems ready, Admiral Bennett reported from the Military Command Center. World leaders gathered around screens showing the alien ships, but our weapons may not be enough against their technology. We have allies now, Olivia reminded him, watching the outcast ships and the breakaway council vessels positioning to defend Earth. Without warning, the first attack came. Draconite ships fired energy weapons at Earth's major cities, but seconds before the blast could hit, shields of shimmering light appeared, deflecting the energy skyward. Everyone stared in shock. The shields weren't from the alien allies. "It worked," shouted a scientist across the room. The defense system worked. Nathan turned to Olivia. "What defense system?" Admiral Bennett smiled for the first time in days. "A little surprise we've been developing. After studying the Council's ship when it first arrived, our engineers reverse-engineered their shield technology. We installed generators in secret locations around the planet. The Draconites attacked again, this time targeting Earth's defense systems. Some shields failed under repeated hits. Buildings crumbled. People ran for safety as distant explosions lit up the horizon. New York's shield is down," someone called out. "London taking heavy damage." The outcast ships fired on the Draconite vessels, drawing their attention away from Earth. The space above the planet erupted in a spectacular battle of energy beams, explosions, and maneuvering ships. "We need to help our allies," Admiral Bennett said. He pressed a button on his console. "All units, launch now." From hidden bases on the Moon and underwater facilities on Earth, hundreds of small fighter ships rose. Earth's secret fleet, built from reversed-engineered alien technology, joined the battle. The human ships were less advanced but far more numerous than anyone expected. They swarmed the larger Draconite vessels, targeting weak points identified by Captain Miller during his meeting with the outcasts. Nathan worked frantically at his computer. "I've almost hacked into their main communication network," he told Olivia. "If I can broadcast proof of the Council's corruption and exploitation to all their worlds." The battle intensified. The Lumidian and Vaporian ships openly fought alongside the outcasts and humans now. Only the pulsars remained neutral, their energy-based craft hovering at a distance. Despite Earth's surprise defenses and allies, the Draconites and Xeri were still powerful. 3 major cities lost their shields completely. Casualties mounted as emergency services struggled to evacuate civilians. "I need more time," Nathan said, his fingers flying across his keyboard. Just then, 2 engineers rushed into the command center. Sam Peterson and Carly Martinez had been working on a special project in a lab beneath the ocean platform. "We've completed the pulse disruptor," Sam announced, holding up a small device. "What does it do?" Olivia asked. "The Draconites use a neural network to coordinate their ships," Carly explained. "This device can temporarily disrupt it, but we need to get close enough to their command ship." Admiral Bennett nodded. "I'll go." "No," Olivia said firmly. "I'll take it. I'm a pilot, remember, and they'll be less likely to target a diplomatic vessel." Before anyone could argue, she grabbed the device and ran for her shuttle. Nathan wanted to stop her but knew there was no time. Instead, he focused on his task, finally breaking through the last firewall in the Council's network. "I'm in," he shouted. "Broadcasting now." Across thousands of worlds, beings of all species received Nathan's transmission, proof that the Draconite leadership had been lying for centuries, exploiting worlds and violating the Council's founding principles. In space, Olivia's small shuttle dodged energy blasts, flying directly toward the massive Draconite command ship. The pulse disruptor was armed and ready. "For Earth," she whispered, pressing the activation button as her shuttle passed close to the alien vessel. A wave of blue energy spread outward. Every Draconite ship suddenly stopped firing. They drifted, temporarily disabled. The tide of battle had turned. With the Draconite ships temporarily disabled, Earth forces and their allies quickly gained the upper hand. The Xari vessels, now without their strongest allies, began to retreat. Olivia's shuttle flew back toward Earth, damaged but still functioning. She watched through her view screen as the combined fleet of human, outcast, Lumidian, and Vaporian ships surrounded the drifting Draconite vessels. "The pulse disruptor worked better than we hoped," she reported as she landed. "Their systems will be offline for at least 6 hours." Admiral Bennett wasted no time. "Secure the Draconite ships. Rescue any injured, regardless of species. Show them humans fight with honor." Meanwhile, Nathan's broadcast continued to spread across the galaxy. The evidence against the Draconite leadership was overwhelming. Secret mining operations on developing worlds, falsified reports to the Council, and the suppression of species who resisted their rule. "More Council ships are arriving," Captain Miller reported from the _Defiant_, which was patrolling the edge of the solar system. "But they're not attacking. They're waiting." The new arrivals were from other Council species who had received Nathan's broadcast. Their leaders demanded explanations from the Draconite High Command. Professor Diane Jackson saw an opportunity. "We need to speak directly to the other Council worlds," she told Earth's leadership. "Not just to their representatives here, but to their home governments." She proposed a bold plan. Send diplomatic missions directly to key Council homeworlds, bypassing the traditional chain of command. Commander Wright would lead the most important mission to Vaporis, home of the gaseous Vaporians, who seemed most sympathetic to Earth's position. "It's risky," Olivia admitted, "but the Draconites have broken their own rules. Why shouldn't we?" While the diplomatic missions prepared to depart in ships provided by their outcast allies, Earth continued to deal with the aftermath of the attack. Despite their shields, several cities had suffered damage. Thousands were injured, and hundreds had died defending their planet. Yet something unexpected happened as humans faced this crisis. Old enemies worked together. Countries that had been rivals for centuries shared resources and sent aid to each other's damaged cities. The attack had united humanity in ways no one thought possible. In space, the disabled Draconite fleet slowly came back online. But they found themselves surrounded by ships from all Council factions, most demanding answers about the evidence Nathan had broadcast. Slith was brought to Earth under heavy guard for emergency negotiations. His arrogance was gone, replaced by cold fury. "You think you've won," he hissed at Nathan during the meeting. "You've merely delayed the inevitable. The Draconite Empire has ruled the Council for 1,000 years. We will not be stopped by primitives." "We don't want to stop you from existing," Nathan replied calmly. "We just want you to stop bullying everyone else." The Lumidian representative's crystals glowed brightly. "The evidence cannot be denied, Slith. The Council was founded on principles of mutual benefit and respect. The Draconites have betrayed those principles." As they argued, more news arrived from across the galaxy. Other worlds that had been forced into submission were rising up against Draconite rule. The rebellion that had started with Earth was spreading. Olivia prepared to depart on her diplomatic mission. Nathan found her checking her ship one last time. "Be careful out there," he said. "We still don't know much about these aliens." Olivia smiled. "That's what makes it exciting. Besides, I'm not going alone." She gestured to Professor Jackson and several other skilled diplomats who would accompany her. "You know what I realized," Nathan said. "The Council's ultimatum was the best thing that could have happened to humanity. Look at us now, united, reaching for the stars, making new allies." "That's the thing about humans," Olivia replied. "We grow stronger under pressure. We always have." As her ship prepared for departure, Admiral Bennett received word that the Xari fleet was regrouping for another attack. But this time, they wouldn't face Earth alone. Vessels from a dozen species now protected the planet, some from the Outcast Alliance, others from Council worlds disgusted by the Draconites' actions. The message was clear. The galaxy was changing, And humanity had sparked that change by doing what it did best, refusing to kneel. 6 months after the battle for Earth, representatives from 23 spacefaring civilizations gathered in the newly built Galactic Embassy in Geneva. The massive dome-shaped building featured architecture inspired by all member species, with windows that changed color based on the position of the sun. Nathan stood near a window, watching ships land in the distance. Some carried dignitaries from across the galaxy, while others brought supplies and technology as part of new trade agreements. Hard to believe it all started with a signal in the middle of the night, Olivia said as she joined him. Her diplomatic missions had been wildly successful. She now wore the formal uniform of Earth's first galactic ambassador. Even harder to believe the Draconites thought we would just surrender, Nathan replied. The old Galactic Council no longer existed. After the evidence of corruption became public, most member species had withdrawn support. The Draconites and Xeri had retreated to their own territories, still powerful but no longer dominant. In place of the Council, a new organization had formed, the Galactic Federation. Unlike its predecessor, the Federation was built on principles of equality, with each member having an equal vote regardless of their technological advancement. Admiral Bennett entered the room, accompanied by Captain Miller. Both men looked tired but satisfied. The defense network is fully operational, Bennett reported. 47 planets now share the shield technology we adapted from the Draconites. And the trade routes are secure, Miller added. The Defiant just returned from escorting ships to the Ta-Sishan homeworld. Human technology had advanced rapidly through cooperation with their new allies. Earth ships now regularly travel to distant stars. The first human colonies on other worlds were already being planned. Nathan had led a team developing a true universal translation system, allowing all species to communicate clearly for the first time. This simple tool had prevented countless misunderstandings that might have led to conflict. Engineers Sam Peterson and Carly Martinez had become celebrities after their pulse disruptor technology had been refined into peaceful applications. Their energy wave system now powered cities across Earth and other worlds, ending dependence on fossil fuels. The Great Hall filled as the Federation meeting prepared to begin. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions took their places, some sitting, others floating, a few appearing only as patterns of light. Professor Jackson leaned over to Nathan. "The Draconites have requested to join the Federation," she whispered. "Their new government claims to have reformed. Will they be accepted?" Nathan asked. "Eventually, perhaps. But they'll need to prove themselves first. The Federation remembers what happened." The meeting began with a speech from the Protean representative, whose aquatic species had once been banished by the Council. "Today we celebrate 6 months of peace and cooperation. What the old Council could not achieve through force, we have built through mutual respect." The Vaporean delegates swirled in agreement. And we must acknowledge that this new path began with Earth. When given an ultimatum, humans chose neither surrender nor blind aggression. They found a third option, building alliances and exposing truth. Olivia rose to speak next. As Earth's voice in the Federation, her words carried the weight of humanity's new role in the galaxy. "My species has a saying, 'The truth shall set you free.' When the Council demanded our submission, they expected either surrender or destruction. They never considered that we might change the rules of the game entirely." She looked around the room at the diverse beings who now counted Earth as an equal partner. Humans have never responded well to threats. Throughout our history, those who tried to conquer us learned a painful lesson. We don't kneel, but we do stand, shoulder to shoulder with friends and allies. The hall erupted in the varied sounds of approval from multiple species. Outside the embassy, ordinary humans went about their lives in a world forever changed. Children learned about alien cultures in school. Workers collaborated with beings from distant stars. Scientists explored technologies once thought impossible. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were destinations, homes of friends. All because when the Galactic Council delivered its ultimatum, Humanity had refused to kneel, and, in standing firm, had helped reshape the galaxy itself.